Then, in the spring of '86, Buck heard echoes of himself in a new young country singer named Dwight Yoakam. Yoakam wrote a song called Little Ways as a tribute to Buck, the man who had most influenced him musically.
All I ever wanted to do was express my enormous admiration of Buck Owens to him in as personal a way as I could.
In 1987, Yoakam sought out Buck, wanting at the very least to meet him and hoping that he might be able to convince him to come out of retirement.
I immediately liked him. We immediately hit it off really well, and he reminded me he could have very easily, he could have been one of my sons, and he kind of like a young Mustang,
Dwight talked Buck into joining him on stage at a nearby county fair. After all that had happened, and all the years that had passed, Buck finally was back on stage.
We sang 3 or 4 songs, and the audience, you could tell, sometimes how you could just tell. I mean, it was just kind of like an electric moment,
The two stayed in touch, and in 1988 performed Buck's The Streets of Bakersfield for a television special. Buoyed by the crowd's enthusiastic response, Buck encouraged Yoakam to record the song.
Just after the performance, Buck said to me, Dwight, I think we're on to something here. I think we ought to cut this. Don't want to tell you what to do, Dwight.
I said, Dwight, I think if you cut that song, if you and I cut that song, I think it'd be a #1 song for you, something you never had.
I said, okay, sounds good. And if you're recommending it, I'd be nuts not to listen.
Hey, you don't know me, but you don't like me. Say you care less how I feel. But how many of you that sit and judge me ever walk the streets of Bakersfield?
It deals with the itinerant nature of country music, and the itinerant nature of the population that came from Arkansas, Oklahoma, north central Texas, where Buck's family came from, to the West Coast, across the Continental Divide, into that blindingly golden light that was the end of the rainbow.
Like so many of his other business moves, Buck was right on the money with The Streets of Bakersfield. It hit #1.
I'll forever be in Buck's debt for that song. First #1 single that I ever had.
With Dwight's encouragement, Buck came out of retirement and launched a second career.